What's up with the fog?
This will clear.
Oh, Dad, my father says, you know, my father
It'll
said,
burn off.
it's all gonna burn off.
It's gonna burn off.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So this is the path that leads to the beach, and it's a really cool metaphor for reliability-centered maintenance, because RCM can be considered like a path, right? When you do reliability-centered maintenance, it puts you on the right path to getting the reliability that you need from your equipment. I mean, reliability-centered maintenance is just jam-packed with the basics, and the basics are where to begin. So, be like the path. If you want to get started on the right path to reliability, to getting the reliability that you want from your equipment, begin with reliability-centered maintenance. So now let's talk about RCM implementation, because really doing the analysis is really only half of the battle. The other half is implementing the results and then consistently doing more analyses after that. When I first started doing reliability-centered maintenance, I was a Navy employee, and we were doing RCM on support equipment, aviation support equipment, and we started out with just a few pilot projects, and based on the strength of the results of those pilot projects, we decided to start an RCM program and do RCM across a lot more assets. Well, I don't work there anymore. I left in 2001 to start my own business, but that RCM program is still going strong 24 years later. But there's a reason for that. And the reason we can find here at the beach and with the ocean. You know, nature is really smart. Mother Nature knows what she is doing. There's something about the beach and the ocean, and specifically the tides. The tide is consistent and it is repeatable. The tide goes out and then it comes back in again. And we can take a lesson from that when it comes to reliability-centered maintenance. Because number one, we have to make sure that we implement the results. We have to make sure that we are consistent in training people about what RCM is, and not just the people doing the analyses, but the people who have to implement the results, because reliability-centered maintenance is a philosophy. Yes, it's a process that you can use to make a maintenance plan for your equipment, but it is a philosophy, and it is rooted in the reality of how equipment failure behaves and what are the proper ways to take care of failure. That's such an important point about reliability-centered maintenance. So if you're gonna do reliability-centered maintenance, number one, you have to do it right. Number two, you have to make sure that you implement the results. But number three, and most importantly, you have to make sure you are like the tide. You are consistent. So there you have it. Be like the tide when it comes to reliability-centered maintenance, and really reliability in general, right? Okay, I won't post it. Even the beach has rules. And there are rules when it comes to proactive maintenance and our equipment. For example, you wouldn't want to do preventive maintenance like a scheduled restoration or a scheduled replacement on a failure mode that occurs randomly, because of course random failure essentially means that there's the same chance of failing today as it does, say, next week or next month, for example. So if you were to do a scheduled task on that, not only is that a waste of time and you're not doing anything good for your asset, but you may actually be doing harm because you could be breaking something in the process, right? Destabilizing an otherwise stable system. So that's what I mean by maintenance has rules. When you do reliability-centered maintenance, it teaches you those rules, so to speak, right? It helps you to figure out how is that failure mode behaving. Is it an age-related failure mode? Is it a random failure mode? Is it subject to infant mortality? And that's what helps us to then decide what the appropriate failure management strategy is. It could be proactive maintenance, or it could be some other default strategy like change the design of the equipment. So there you have it. If you didn't think that there were rules when it came to maintenance, well, there are. Just like the beach has particular rules. When you follow the rules, you have a nice time, you get to enjoy the beach. And when you follow the rules, when it comes to how to formulate maintenance tasks for your equipment, then you're much more likely to get exactly the reliability that you need from your equipment, and you get out of reactive mode, because who wants to run from fire to fire, right? That's no way to live. Definitely not. So, turn to reliability-centered maintenance, and it can teach you all the rules.
Oh, they need more tables. Busy. She's recording this. Yeah. Are you? Oh, get rid of that. God, that's horrible. You didn't. Please stop recording this. Oh, see, you can't show anybody. Oh my God, we're terrible.
You don't know.
This one in a video.
Would you put that away? She's gonna blackmail all of us.
Yeah.
No, get out of here. I don't want to be on.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing.
The beach in Brewster, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, can give us another excellent lesson about reliability-centered maintenance. And it's right behind me. Let's go take a look. So right now, it's low tide. And you see here, there are all these rocks. And you gotta get over the rocks in order to get to the sandbar. When I was a child, the sandbar was my favorite place because, of course, you know, you're in this like vast stretch of beach, but most especially because you've got like these little pools, and it felt like my own little mini ocean or my own little pool. But in order to get out here, you have to get over all of these rocks, and especially if you're barefoot, that can be kind of painful. But if you stick it out and you do it, you end up here on the sandbar. And then what's in front of you is all of this beautiful ocean. You can go swimming, I don't know, you can play frisbee, you can do all sorts of things. So it can be a lot of fun. And ability-centered maintenance can be like this walk that we just took. You know, it can be slippery, it can be uncomfortable, it can be all kinds of things. But the key is to, stick with it, because anything worthwhile in life is going to take work. It's going to be slippery, it can be a little painful, but the key is just to stick with it.
Where's my
You know, reliability-centered maintenance often gets a bad rap, that it takes too long, it's too complicated, you don't get the results that you need, it's too expensive. Now, you know, just like anything, I mean, reliability-centered maintenance does take resources to implement, but when you do it right with the right people, it can be done really efficiently. One of the keys is to make sure that you're trained properly and that you're doing, you know, bona fide reliability-centered maintenance. When you start that way, and you start off on the right foot with the right people who are trained, well, I tell you, you can avoid a whole lot of these rocks. It's impossible to not encounter any rocks because we don't live in Fantasyland. We live in the real world, and in the real world there are just all kinds of problems, like the wind at the beach when you're trying to make a video, and the sun in your eyes, and the wind flipping my hair around all over the place. But you know, reliability can be messy, just like life. So just like life, when you approach it smartly, with the right attitude and with the right knowledge, then things can be a lot easier and work out a lot better. My sister's doing the Queen's wave because she's the Queen. It's her milestone birthday, but I'm not allowed to say which one. Happy birthday, sister.
I love you, Sissy.
I love you.
These are the 2 best days of my life.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, it's been so much.
I love you.
I love you too.